us on the plains of another realm, that place where awakening ends and sleeping begins. This realm was like home to us, smacking stabs against our pupils' heads. Whether true or false were our dream-speaking whims, always there came a tinge of sunlight through clouds of consciousness. Through beautiful, guiltless perversion, our lyrics flew through Tao, that which lives all around us, flickering in a moment's candlelight. A vigil held we in the night. Our brothers and sisters were the birds and beasts of this fractured realm, those who know far more than they let on. The teachers of rags and wisdom know that alleyway pleasures breed an extreme passion, yet gentle meditation ponders nothing but knows everything. We traveled the paths of madness, trudging through mud and snow with bare feet on. Speaking of past illumination, we knew the river speaks in all languages, that Om is not a word, and from this simple madness, we crazy fools kept blood flowing blue, hills and canyons green, the power of Brahman and everywhere. Does the earth still speak? Smothered it has become, and a shaman's work is strangled, green death now. Dry and cracked have our chapped lips become. The toxic wind blows like a flute's assassination. Noise pollution grants no keys to the higher realm. This world is lost in a stream of bad euphemisms. The castle walls are high. Do they keep the monsters out or us locked inside? The new rituals of stupidity have been launched. The truth lies nowhere, but is repeated again every 7 minutes. With fast food and fluoridated water, the shaman becomes just another schizophrenia. The plague of the 20th century, said Aldous Huxley. With all our bravery, the shamans have found no stepping stones in the darkness. This place where toxic sky and water drive all to the brink of apocalyptic insanity. This is the changing of the season. The fall leads again to the long dark winter of humanity's discontent. We shamans still dwell here on the beach, waiting for the turn of the tide when a billion sandcastles are washed again into the sea. Crazy it is to see things this way. Infinite deaths await us, and this crazy fool is yet foolish, yet an idiot, crossing his I's and dotting his T's. As humanity's infancy ends, we walk erect and stammering, waiting for this Mayan dawn, which will have the easy monks of the golden cloth wearing rags again. And opening our eyes, we meet the morning's residential glow, illuminated once more. Thank you. This is the third differentiation, Shadows of the Gulf. 10. The earth and the heavens rattle, the beasts of nature flock together, and the nations of men flock apart. Volcanoes usher up heat, while elsewhere water becomes ice and melts. And then, on other days, it just rains. 11. Indeed, do many things come to pass. Principia Discordia. The crows are amassing for war all around now that the towers have fallen. They are carrion feeders. The wild dogs are wary. They keep their distance as Enrique and Zach pull up. The side of the car reads, "If freedom isn't free, what the fuck is?" They stop to take in the scenery. The open and green and peaceful plain descending to a slight ravine. Zach circles the car to Enrique's side. "We must travel to the Painted Rock," declares Enrique. "Indeed, and do what we do best." A handshake. They depart from the street and through the chaparral, the grass and the bramble. Old appliances lay scattered about, many broken to pieces. "We are pirates, man. We are the pirates of this generation," says Enrique. "Think about it. The pirates were like the counterculture back in the day. They weren't really down with fighting that much. What they would do was they would arm themselves really heavily so they would look ominous and threatening to the ship, and so the ship would surrender. If there were slaves on board the ship, the pirates freed them, bro. And the slaves were usually asked if they wanted to join the pirates. Actually, the crew of the ship could even join them if they wanted to. I don't know, but we seem like pirates. Zack mulls this over for a few moments as they continue on their way. Well then, pirates we are, I suppose, he says at last. The painted rock holds many voices. The refrigerators, televisions, and washers and dryers, once arranged as a kind of appliance Stonehenge, have been fragmented, decimated, now lying in junk piles. The old, worn couches and mattresses are soiled. We must build a bunker for the coming war. The broken, strewn about bricks and old wood are gathered and stacked. Zack cannot explain or even understand the sensation, but he begins to feel some sort of dawn approaching. As the crude shelter is constructed, the bricks scrape and cut his hands, but soon enough their work is completed. Their bunker is built, and now they must bombard it from above with rocks until it is destroyed, desecrated, and the two pirates are weeping. The crows have now swarmed to form dark clouds far in the east. The fourth differentiation. The unspoken gentleman's agreement, an anecdote. The words of the foolish and those of the wise are not far apart in Discordian eyes. So there I was, nearby my parents' house in Riverside during all that pirate shit. I was 20 when it happened, sitting in my Pontiac on a little cul-de-sac overlooking a Mormon church. At least, I think it was Mormon. The Pontiac is all tagged up by this time was all tagged up by this time with many anarchist messages, all over it. One of the largest phrases was tagged on the side of the car. It read, "George Bush does not give a fuck about you or your family." Anyway, there I am sitting in the car about midday in summer, I'm pretty sure, and I'm smoking a bowl and enjoying the view from atop the little plateau there, mostly hidden from the rest of the world, when this cop pulls up behind me. Quickly, I stash the pipe and weed into the armrest, whatever, center console, and I try real quick to look out casually at the view, like I hadn't noticed him. And still I'm thinking of the upside-down American flag on the back of the car and all the anarchist rhetoric scribbled on it. I barely get the crap stowed away before turning back to find how much I had lucked out. This guy was just as much a rookie as I was. And yet, still I'm agonizingly aware of the eighth of pot to my right, and how obvious my fumbling to stash it must be. The questions proceeded. "What are you doing here, sir?" "Enjoying the view." "May I see your license and registration?" "Of course." "Do you have any drugs or alcohol in the car, sir?" Now, there was weed all over the goddamn car. A sea of stems and seeds and flakes and buds of it, coating the floor and the seats. I said, thinking about it for a second. "Well, there's that one. Where is that?" I trailed off as I made a little show of searching around on the floor of the passenger's side for that one piece of pot, finally re-emerging at the window, with a tiny flake of marijuana pinched between two fingers. "There's this piece," I said with nonchalance. "I think somebody left it in here." The police human looks at me all perturbed. It must have seemed odd behavior. I think someone left it in here," I explained to him with a hard mustard look of sincerity. The statement was technically true, after all. "Oh," he said, not sure how to proceed. "Well," he trailed off, and there was this moment with the two of us where he sized me up, looked me over, searched into my gaze as though to measure the quality of my character. "We don't care about that," he finished. "Cool," I said, and smiled at him pleasantly. "Thank you, dude." The officer then explained that the cul-de-sac was the church's private property. I apologized, telling him that I didn't know buildings could legally own private property. He ignored the comment. I almost asked him if the empty space I was occupying directly above the property belonged to my parents' house, but decided not to push my luck. "Have a nice day, officer," I said. He responded with the same. It was somehow a pleasant exchange. Support your local police sewing circle. This is The Tin Room. It is a title poem. It's the title poem of The Tin Room, the poetry book. So, here we go. Pay attention. There was a cell with no door, not a flicker of light. I lived there for many years, very lonely, until one day a tiny slit of light shone through the wall. I worked away at the hole until it was larger and larger and big enough to squeeze through. Outside the cell was a desert many miles wide. It rarely rained, and I lived in a tin room. And if it rained, there was a pleasant pitter-patter sound. In the darkness, death came to me, and all the silence seemed to me to thicken and engulf me as he chanted in a strange tongue, loud and clear, yet darkly silent. And all the night I shivered there, afraid to look, think he mistook fear for smug hypocrisy. He passed quickly away, leaving one sad note before he left. Never could be any other way, never could be any other way, never could be any other way, never could be any other way. With that note in my heart, and it comes suddenly, swiftly, a movement in the mind's shadow so vivid as to make everything came before it a plastic world. White radiant light floods your brain. A second's pause, and from the silence the sounds of an ancient door creaking open in your forehead. Hollow, resounding footsteps appear, as though there are high ceilings, and there comes a shriek. They're controlling me. There's a metallic clang, a soft motor humming, and sounds of a party. Another brilliant flash of light, and it all starts over. 12 packs of beer and bowls of chronic sprinkled with keef. Try to stay awake and write all night. He sighed, leaned, put the smoke out on his soul. Young, hip intellectuals, reveling in excess and taking time to remember the past. The television flashes to a new channel. There stands the newly inaugurated president, young yet. Looks like war with China, folks. A sudden outcry in the room as he issues new troops. Our narrator laughs, sighs ironically, throws away the butt, leaves the chaos of the party for the brightly lit kitchen. Yes, it is time. A foot of cactus slowly, meticulously shaves off the quills, chops it into 10 pentacles, boils it for 2 hours. Nothing to mix it with. How about fruit juice? He gags, rather drink bile, chokes it down, slapping the counter in a frenzy. How long before it takes effect? I floated in the lofty gallery of endless stars till the door creaked open, and the desert stood before me like the landscape of a whole different world. I walked along a sandy shore and, faced with death, turned my head away. Then he gets bashed over the head with cactus. Voices blend, faces melt. If I stop believing in the world, it would all just disappear. He stumbles and moans. He can't find a home. The waves flying fast, faster, top speed. Flying so fast he ceased to touch the earth. No more room left in Riverside. I can't breathe in this town. Anybody got a cell phone? Call 911. He stumbles and moans and pisses a puddle. In a hole in the ground there lived a hawk. Its head riddled with scars, beak stained with blood. Jackals on the outside leering at me. Thin blood seeping on the ground. He watches it for a few seconds, flowing and dripping between the floorboards. Jowls dripping hungry at the feast of hate. I walk down the aisle, I stare at my feet, afraid to have the look of easy meat. We interrupt your paranoid hallucinations to remind you, always brush your teeth with fluoride. Always take your medicine lest you become infected. Never talk to strangers lest they stick a spear through your guts. Never throw parachute men from the fire escape. Never paint the walls black and call on Ra, the sun god. Always wear your shoes on the proper feet. Never spill grape juice on the carpet. Never damage the ceramic puppies. Never consume other living creatures, only dead ones. Always love the stars and the stripes. Never touch the floor, it's made of lava and you'll die. Never rip out your neighbor's spinal column. Never bring down the government. Never pretend the Barbie dolls are having sex. Never taste your own urine, and never chew gravel. 2 + 2 = 4. Always. What's it like to be born into a race on the brink of destruction? The city's burning now. The people have spoken, arisen from hiding to show you what's what. So what is it, boy, to do? Pack the money in a black satchel and run. Take the money and run, take the money and run, take the money and run. Till one day after the city's felled and peace is spread across the land, Sophie finds a bright new shell Tommy wants. Tommy bashes Sophie over the skull with a rock and takes the shell. Sophie's brain washed into a river. Away. A sacred picture of Saint Anthony alone is one vertical, unwavering band of light. The people, like clockwork automatons, the people wear masks at the red masquerade. The people, like clockwork automatons, the people, red masks upon pale, bloodless faces. The people, like clockwork automatons, the people, knowing safety just for fear. The people, like clockwork automatons, the people, prisoners within the twisting city walls. And all the pretty people and all the knowledge anyway, and all the pretty people and all the knowledge anyway, and all the pretty people and all the knowledge anyway, passing away like dust. Like dust. Nothing to be done, eh? Nothing I can see, that's for sure. Nothing at all, for sure. But that's in the past, and I am a pillar of salt. Hey, you alright, man? What? You alright? You were moaning. You fell down. Oh, fine. Drinking too much? I drank some cactus. You drank that cactus? Yeah. You peeking? Yeah, man. Damn, let's go on the balcony. You need a place to trip. Yeah, for sure. Peace, quiet, stars. A full moon and warm summer evening. And the rain fell, pitter-patter, pitter-patter, harder and harder on the tin room, till one day a flood came, washed it away, and I'm caught up, flowing downstream with the river, sucked below by the current. I hope a bird comes and swoops me up, sets me on dry land again. Shall we walk? Stuck deeply in the evanescence of the cave where I dwell, night has fallen over, shedding its residential glow. I can't stay here. The past leans on my shoulders like 10,000 pounds, and I am a pillar of salt. I fled the cave. The music swelled, ancient feelings sucked from the gut. The confusion, the hate, the self-doubt, the rape of my truth. Certain truth held vacant over my head, distant as the stars, but now I'm free as I've always wanted to be. But fences pop up here in the desert. Feelings pop faster. Whatever you do, don't leave the path. Don't enter the woods of the elder, flute-playing games, and free love heard outside the stifling city walls. We leave the path, focused on the now. After all who wander are not lost, and freedom is its own reward. With the rabid maul of the jackals fenced in, locked to their territory, possessed, solid little generals ready to fight the legion. The bushes, the shrubs, reach out to the silver moon, bask in its glow and search, call on the gods to save them, deeply rooted. The city lights and stars are but candles. The past rushes back with the music. I could be no more, say no more, write no more. Sorry all the time for reasons unknown. It's dealt with, in freedom and creativity in the place we found ourselves with brand new music. Wait. If it goes on forever, then I'm at the center of the multiverse. If I point in any direction, it all just keeps going forever. Now as I walk, the world moves for me. The trail is straight. I'm standing perfectly still. It's the world that moves for me. When I was younger, the trail was unclear. The world stood still. I stumbled and moaned and pissed a puddle. Now the world moves for me. So pay attention. Here we are, right now. What else is there but eternity? We're living in the fountain of youth. Eternity is now. So practice random acts of insanity. Here and now, boys. Here and now. Attention. That was the tin room. That was the second poem I ever wrote, I think. Or no, yeah, it was the second piece I ever wrote. I always wanted to write prose more. Oh, by the way, in a society that advances only technologically, the brutality only becomes more efficient. This is called Neo-Pagan Shuffle. How can one actor make the entire audience cry for only a second? How can one man twist the identity of the crowd to his own ends? How can one person rebuild the Western culture, bit by shattered bit? To be orated in very public places at breakneck speed. Shove this in your pipe and smoke it. Psycho death music, mad music, cool music, fun under the sun, the blood moon, the cabbages, the cool shit, the tough shit, the bad crazy shit, fun under the sun, the Vatican, the Walk of Fame, blood of Baphomet, bad music, cool music, golden apple death music, fun under the sun, the first face of Eve, she, mother of the nameless, she who rides the beast, those who race toward death take a fucking breath. Psycho death music, mad music, cool music, fun in the sun, skull and bones, fucking and lattice, the cool shit, the tough shit, the bad crazy shit, the blood oath, the Baphomet, the mad music, the cool music, the golden apple death music, fun in the sun, the first face of Eve, mother of the nameless, she who rides the beast, those who race toward death, those take a fucking breath. Widespread panic, grueling work, vicious insults, closed caption reasoning, cross-country hysteria, golden dreams, lead realities. Wearing shoes gives me the blues. So, my muse is tied up and gagged under my kitchen table, and I've had several beers, so please allow me to create your procession. So I take words, chew 'em up, spit 'em up, boil 'em, toss 'em like salad, mortified at being me again. I've come around full circle, and the exterminating angel lives on in the wet dreams of the lost Indians. We need cycling orbs and chest sex springing from impulsive music, chemicals, stimuli fantastica. I know I'm alive, do you? Rolling bodily through irritated grass, Dionysus appeared again, the schizophrenia following him into his next life. The Bacchante danced blood and copulation, aborted cannibalism to worship the moon on her period. I rise again. True freedom exists beyond textbooks and television. Say what you will. At least I'm walking down sun-drenched highway while frozen, dumb, saturated droughts control thoughts. Centralized, compartmentalized, hashish crazy, stuck in a beige cubicle in front of a computer screen. Low-rent flats, ironically the ones to be bombed. In a rapid piss from the Pentagon's dark circle of cohorts. God save the Queen. Sure, report to the bar and exit to drunken homecoming. Hanging on a fence in the acid-washed nights. Nights lead to distraction. Do I do drugs to escape? To expand or to escape? I lost track somewhere on this merry way. Those who wait, those who worry, those of poetic analog who race toward death, breathing deeply. I'm in pain, and therefore live again. And if you think about it, your neighbor is a pedophile, just like God. And with his favorite childhood movie playing backwards through the walls. And if you think about it, God is the child, manipulated and abused and frantic with guilt, solid, emotionally stagnant, yet ever-moving. Ecstatic, elemental Mohammedan angels played through your brain, dancing on a pinhead, oozing crystalline and fashionable young lion skins. Oozing Monday night approaches. I better find some words and toss them together so at least I'll sound like I know what I'm talking about. Candy dancing, rough road, rocky road, Muhammad's image plastered on a skyscraper, fluting down fried pork rinds and lobster, munching on God's ankles. Ah, blasphemy. The pigs be God too, rolling through lightning slop. The farm's garbage disposal sinks into my gullet. Dig it on it, debauching sensually until the spreading of the dawn. Someday when I get fat and die once again, I can be a pig too. Those who race toward death, those who wait, those who worry. The misread moon builds weird prophecy to those who love her, machinations of faith obscured by clouds and smog. Mighty dragon's blood, mighty goddess roars, awaken to the Mayan dawn as death brings peace to the land. Death's blanket keeps the shells of faith devoured, fruitless when unappreciated and unembraced. Sprouting wings, love devours coincidence, and coincidence makes sense. Two-tone copper idols have covered our eyes. Karen's toll better earned when you're broke. A stranger's charity, blue heavens, weird tales, blue heavens, a stranger's charity. I wish I could poke out God's eye with my fountain pen. Well, then poke out your neighbor's eye. Oh, so we're all Buddha or something? Nah, Buddha's dead. Oh, I forgot there's more. Well, I guess I'll go untie my muse now. Tomorrow will be my turn. Alright. Okay. This is called, quote, The Raven. I've read this here before. Has the sun ever done you wrong? Have you burned? Did it give you life and death? Wait, they said. Sit and wait here and she'll come to you. The raven, they said, the sigil of red and black who swerves in the air to find you. I looked for the signs to lead me to her, the heavenly signs Daniel the Jack and I found written in the wet cement on our vision quest. A heart around the name Zach next to the word raven. Charged me up to trudge the hot and watery air and buy a pack of camels. Have you been waiting long? Only 2 years. Sooner or later, I knew, the two of us would find each other. The red-haired beauty with softness to touch and lips to kiss. My rainbow robe I used to keep them at bay. The Lightbringer's primordial minions cannot hide the fact that sooner or later our souls always touch, meld, become one with the music of love. She's faced many an autistic tragedy, but however the title page closes, there's still an entire book yet to be read. As Daniel slept, I was on watch in the woods by the willowy river. I drifted off this plane into her white soul I've always eaten, and there she was, naked before me, dripping of water and skipping brainwaves to see that we're a perfect match. This scarlet letter she wrote me can dissolve in the river and disappear as ashes, past groves of people not eating apples. And I can't help thinking to myself that perhaps the snake was right after all. She embraces me, has me flipping cartwheels, simple, silvery, soft, and magic metals cut up to feel her arms and legs around me, comforting, binding, lovely and new, yet very old. It's like we were one once, but like Jekyll and Hyde, split apart to wander the frozen world forever. She pulls me down into the water, then feeds me the air from her lungs, the doors of her face, the windows of her eyes, the dark fire of her heart. There's a time in life to freak out and a time to stand still. I can tell scorpions from kitchen soup. I can tell beer from nowhere, but would I know love from hate, bliss from agony? How bipolar do you have to be miss the gray area between all things, that place where we all melt? Wake up. Awaken, Zach. Awaken. Why? There's a whole world out here to explore. Is this a dream? Dreams are the only reality. As I awaken, I find my right hand is asleep. Shadowy figures float past me in an etheric stream. There's chanting and wailing in the distance. The figures are at first white, but are soon turned to black and shades of green. They move like zombies, blank expressions and gritted teeth. What are they? Soldiers. Soldiers? But who are they? Surely they must have had faces, names, voices, souls. I'm underground now, a dungeon in darkness. A light soon appears in the distance. Follow the light. Have the soldiers found their light, or do they swim only in the long dark? I follow the fragmented sparks there, somehow untouchable. My hand runs disconnectedly along the wall of the stone corridor. The stone feels strangely cool despite the stifling heat down here so far from the horizon. There comes a sound to interrupt my vacant footsteps, a sound like a fluttering, a sound like a bird, and even before I hear the caw, I know it to be the raven. Suddenly, there I am in a dead forest, the land burned black with the fires of hatred, scorched corpses decaying in sickly piles strewn across the ashen ground. Ravens flap, almost float it seems, from one eyeball to another, pecking and tearing away once sacred flesh. Now I notice a shack built of tin on the river bottom, the door creaking stereotypically in the poison wind, and I can almost make out a person's voice, crying, I think. As I enter the shack, I see a young girl with her back turned. Hello? She turns methodically, and I see that she only has half a face. She is chaos herself. Tell them, Zach! Tell them you're a genius! Zach! Wake up, Zach! Is this a dream? Am I underwater? I can't breathe. Is there an atmosphere here? I cannot think. Do I feel rain? It's cool somehow, even in the dead of summer. I exit the shack and continue through the river bottom. Now I'm sinking in the mud, but there comes a hand in the darkness and I feel it clasp mine, the raven. So here we are now, standing in the wind and rain of a brisk forest together, our hearts brushed together abashedly, and I know now that the dream and the reality are one, balanced and inseparable forever. My lungs have burst and I got bubbles in the bloodstream. A curious, arcane desire hits an aneurysm of the brain, a desire to keep her loving me. My arms cast across my chest like the screeching raven come to set me free. I sink back into a lightless grave and crave a touch of psychedelic wish-tone remembrances, those hallucinations of her standing, sitting, lying, touching me. As fiery red hair falls forward and she falls back, my clotted blood gathers to decircumcise the night. I see a rapid pulse in the fountain streams of myself with her. Red and gold epoxy keeps us glued together. taped and stapled and sewn together in the face of the moon on her period. Love's crimson flight lifts me, and my spirit twirls